LB said to me today, and it's the quickest response I've ever had from LB. I just said send on what are we talking about today? Send. Before my phone even did the noise, LB came back and said, I'm cooking Chelsea. So over to you, LB. Chelsea, they lost again. They looked poor.
Yeah.
It's not going great at the minute. They've actually been called out today by Obi Mikel, speaking about how they should have got Osimhen, and they can't believe that it didn't go through. They're now thinking about paying a big penalty fine to not buy Sancho, who's struggling. It's not going well at the minute in West London. Talk to me, brother.
Yeah, well, they might be above us right now, but I don't think they'll be above us by the end of the season, which is obviously when it actually matters, because I think they're just a mess. I think they're a mess. I think everything that myself and Potsy said at the start of the season has come true. Remember, people, we said that Sanchez was the worst goalkeeper in the league. Yeah. And people said, nah, we was being too harsh. Correct. We were right on that one. I said, Chelsea, go and sign Osimhen. That's what I said. I wasn't slating him. I said, go and sign Osimhen. Nah, he's washed. Yeah. I scored 26 goals in Europa League and the league over in Turkey this season. And you've got Jackson up front and Nkunku and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Everything that we said at the start of the season was true. Needed another defender. Tosin ain't good enough. The guys you got ain't good enough. And all we got from Chelsea fans was, nah, you're being negative. You don't know what you're talking about. Blah, 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 blah. And all we actually said was that Chelsea need to go back, sign some good players, which, when you actually deep it, ain't even that bad of a thing to say about a football club. If Potsy sat here and said, I think City need to go and sign Camavinga and Rodrigo and, you know, a brand new goalkeeper. So I'd be like, yeah, big up, man. I respect it. But Chelsea fans, not all of them, but a lot of Chelsea fans at the start of the season didn't want to hear it. It was very strange. It was almost like they were protecting the players so much that they didn't even want to be linked with world-class talent, which we were saying. And, you know, the chickens have come home to roost. And, yeah, they might be fourth now. But with the fixtures coming up and the way that they played on at the weekend, I thought they were absolutely shambolic. I'd be amazed if they finish in the top 5 now. So, yeah, they've got to go and win that Conference League, because if they don't win that, that'd be embarrassing. But, yeah, not good. And when you look at how much money needs to be spent at Chelsea, they've already spent £1.5 billion. And I think they need to spend another 300 mil minimum. So, yeah, that's where I'm on it. That's where I'm at with it with Chelsea. It's interesting. And the crazy thing is, I genuinely believe that had they listened to our advice about getting a new goalkeeper and going getting Osimhen, which, by the way, would have cost what? Maybe you could have got Osimhen out for 50 mil. New goalkeeper, 35, 40 mil. You're talking 90 mil. They might still be in a title race. If they had a goalkeeper. If you think how many points the goalkeepers cost them, how many points not having a strikers cost them, they might still be in it. They'd certainly be secured top 4. So, yeah, we are available for work. You know, any Premier League clubs want to hire me and Potsy for transfer advice. We are available at a very good rate. But yeah, man, I'm looking at the fixtures, mate. Yeah, I'm looking at Chelsea's fixtures. I don't see how on earth they finish in the top 5 now. I really don't see it. So, yeah, that's crazy. 1.5 billion. If they don't finish in the top 5 this season, get Champions League, that is crazy, mate.
Sackable offence from Maresca, man. And he's got a holding L as well, by the way, because I don't know what he's doing. Timber made him look like an absolute fool as well, by the way, telling him to try harder and then end up sitting there like a schoolboy shaking his hand. If that was Arteta, I'll be going mad. Do you know what I mean? The guy's just not got the best out of some of them players. And I don't think they're actually individually quite as bad as what they are looking. However, LB's bang on in everything that he's just said. If I was to say to you boys, we've got £1.5 billion here, and I would say that averages out at just under 100 million per position on the pitch. You could have 11 world-class players. You could have a goalkeeper that's worth up to 100 million euros. That is absolutely crazy. You go to anyone in the world and offer that, yeah? Other than probably Alisson, who looks set in stone at being set at Liverpool and potentially leaving in the next couple of years, you can pretty much go up to most goalkeepers in the world, barring maybe Courtois at Real Madrid. So you could go and get Diego Costa. You could go and get Donnarumma if you rate him. You can go and get Jan Oblak. You can go and get Michael Magnon. You can go and get any Premier League goalkeeper you want. And they've got Sanchez in goal. Massive L. At the back, you're looking at the past centre-back partnerships of John Terry and Carvalho. They've now got Levi Colwill and Fofana. Now, I don't mind Fofana, but he doesn't quite look the same since he's come back from those horrendous injuries. And Levi Colwell isn't good enough. I'm sorry. The backup to him is Badiashile or Tosin. Neither of those are anywhere near good enough, really, in my opinion, to start. They could have gone and got any centre-back pairing that they want, but they've ended up with that. And then you go into the midfield and you think, actually, when it's balanced, it looks pretty good when everyone's fit. Lavia, Caicedo and Palmer. But barring that, one of them gets injured, it don't quite look the same. And I understand and appreciate that Enzo Fernandez has been a little bit better than he was last season, but it still hasn't got enough quality in there to get them anywhere near moving towards where they should be, which is, of course, trophies and Champions League. Then you look at the front three and you think, wow, where has that money gone? Because I'm a big Pedro Neto fan, but he's doing his best to make me look stupid because I thought he was better than all my front three. But at the moment, I'm not even sure he'd start for us. And we haven't got front three. He's looked absolutely terrible, like really bad. And then you look at Madueke, and then you look at Sancho, and then you look at the Chelsea fans that are saying that they're missing Mudryk. If you're missing Mudryk, something's gone wrong. Yeah. If you're missing Mudryk in your front three, you ain't very good. And then up top,
Don never said that. Remember, Don never said that.
Oh dear, come on. We all know Don told me this. And Don said that he's got more about his game than Martinelli. Well, look, Martinelli's having a poor season, and he's in fact had about 18 months. But I'd still take Martinelli over Mudryk. I think most people would, right? And then up top, you've got Nicholas Jackson, who isn't a bad player. Maybe I've given him too much stick, to be fair, because in his first couple of seasons at Chelsea, he scored some goals. But that is not the Didier Drogba that you need. And people don't like to hear this. Chelsea fans don't like to hear this. Well, I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm looking at Chelsea as the standards of what I looked at when they were scary. And Nicholas Jackson don't scare me, but Drogba did. Yeah? I don't look at the midfield and go, wow, I mean, Lampard, Essien and Makaleli. I know that was good, but you look at this three now, they're much better. No, they're not. Yeah, they're not better. Yeah? Ian Robben and Joe Cole, even Damien Duff, when they were winning stuff, were better than this. And then you look at the back, John Terry, Ricardo Carvalho, Ashley Cole. That's what I grew up like as a kind of into my late teens, into my 20s, looking at, thinking, oh my God, this is a scary Chelsea side here. I don't look at that side now and think it's scary. But the Chelsea fans want me to be scared of that. Well, I'm not. Me and LB are saying, if you actually went and did X, Y, Z, we might be a little bit more scary. If you went and got the goalkeeper.
It's wild. Do you not think it's wild? Why did they not like it?
When they didn't like us. I don't get it.
But when you actually deeped what we said, we didn't even slag them off. We just said, go and sign a striker. If you don't sign a striker, you're going to struggle because this Jackson guy, is not a legit striker. Yeah, go and get a goalkeeper because we've all got a set of eyes and we can all see that Jackson, he's a crap, or what's he called? Sanchez is a crap goalkeeper. Go and sign a centre back. And the amount of abuse we got, man. One guy in my DMs every single show. Why are we slagging off Chelsea? Why? I said, bro, because you spent 1.5 billion quid and you've got Nicholas Jackson up front and Sanchez, who used to be a backup goalkeeper, Swansea in there, who's crap. Go and sign a goalkeeper. Go and sign a striker. And I don't know, man. It's weird. I don't know when. Maybe I do it.
Like LB, if you said to me, next season, Arsenal better go and buy Isak. Oh, shut up, LB. We're talking about. Lay off of me, man. Lay off of me. I'd be like, yeah, I agree with you, man. I think we do. And I think we need much more than that. And I'll tell you the positions we need. Look at the Chelsea fans in the chat getting rattled now. Stop lying, boys. You're lying. What are we lying about? Chelsea used to be quality. Now you're not. And you've got a long way to go. That is the facts. Yeah. And they get rattled, but they don't like it. Yeah, what have you won? What Man City doing this year? That's all we get because they can't hack it about Chelsea, so they have to throw it back at our clubs. Look at Man United; they're in the mud, they're crap. Yeah, they are.
Do you find it
good? It's weird?
Do you find there's like a big dichotomy in the Chelsea fan base in the sense of some that like you got true blue clay here that says there is absolutely nothing to fear about Chelsea. We are a laughing stock at the moment. It's shameful the situation we find ourselves in. You'll have a Chelsea fan like true blue clay that will say this. You'll have fans like, for instance, Ches, who comes on the football terrace, who Monday, when you boys were talking on Straight Facts on Monday morning, he was like, thanks, guys, for the receipts. When Hussam and I think Mo, I'm not too sure exactly what you remember, don't quite remember what you said about this, but that you don't think Chelsea will make top four. I'm bookmarking this. They are still fully behind Blueco. They think they've bought loads of brilliant football players. And then you get people like David who comes on our shows where he's like, look, I don't think it's gone that great so far, but I'm willing to give it more time for this young squad to develop. But there does seem to be a big divide amongst Chelsea fans. The one thing I would say, and it's just everybody makes these mistakes. Pedro Neto is a prime example. I think Pedro Neto is proving himself to be an eye test merchant's wet dream. He looks really good, delivering very little. There's very little end product. There's very little quality through balls. There's very few goals. But he kind of looks good doing very little in the game as an example.
Did you say that when he was at Wolves, though? Because I quite liked him at Wolves.
Wolves, he had one season at Wolves where there was good level of output. But I think what we all did is we saw it and thought, yeah. And we do this to a lot of players, and it's standard practice. Imagine him when he's passing and running around and playing with better players. He'll score more. He'll create more. He'll do better. I thought Neto would do better. I thought Sancho this season would do better as an example. I feel like a lot of Chelsea's attackers on pay. You got to remember they've gone and dropped 25 million on Sancho that they're now going to break. That they're looking to break that clause on and pay Man United 15.
Have you ever heard of that before? By the way, I've never heard of that before. They're going to pay money to not sign a player.
Yeah, I mean that's the irony. People, this is what's mad about this. People are digging Man United out, and they're like, well, you man can't even get an obligation sealed. Well, it turns out most of these obligations to buy have break fees in them. I'm like, hang on, we're going to get about 15 million quid and then get to sell him again. And Chelsea are going to pay 10, 15, whatever million pounds, and they're not going to get him. And this was someone they meant to have scouted. They spent 50 million euros on João Felix after already having him before and loaned him out 6 months later. I'm someone that really felt that they'd built a really good young group and they were going to start adding some quality to it, Chelsea. That's what I looked at last summer. They signed a lot of players, 25, 26. I thought, oh, they're doing it. Then I thought, wow, look, they've got themselves near a title race. January, they're going to go and buy that striker. They're going to buy that keeper. They looked at Garnacho. I'm now looking at it and they're saying they might have to sell to buy an experienced striker. They've just committed £70 million on 2 more teenagers. I understand why Chelsea fans are getting towards or on their last nerve for this ownership, because not every decision has been bad. They haven't bought all pure crap players. They are sitting fourth. They had a brilliant start to the season. But the last thing this team now needs is more players that are not proven or kids. It needs experience. And right now, it doesn't feel like they're gonna attempt to change that. LB, do you reckon they make top 4 or get Champions League football?
I'd be amazed. I just look at the fixtures, right? Let me read out the fixtures for you. Yeah, they've got the hardest fixtures. If you think City, Newcastle, I think Forest have done me. I think Forest have got it. So I think that the last 2 places for me are probably between City, Chelsea, and Newcastle. I know you got like your Brightons and that, but I think at the moment they're the 3 for me, right? These are the fixtures they've got. Yeah, Spurs, Brentford, Ipswich, Fulham, Everton, Liverpool, Newcastle, Man United, Forest. Listen, if they get it, fair folks to them. If they get it, congratulations, Maresca, that you must have done really, either you've done really well or City and Newcastle have done really, really bad, because those fixtures are by far the most difficult out of City's and Newcastle's. Now, they are above City and Newcastle, but by only like a point or 2. I'd just be amazed, man. You know, I just think like pretty much every game there, other than Ipswich, I could see him dropping points in. So, like I say, fair play if he does it, but nah, I don't think so. Especially the way they played. I mean, look at the results recently. Arsenal lost. The 2 wins they got were against Leicester and Southampton. They lost against Villa. They lost against Brighton. Yeah, I just think, I just don't see it, man. The way they played against Arsenal was super poor.
Even if he wins the Conference League, do you think it's sackable if you don't get top 5? Because we're saying we don't rate the team, and then we're saying he must get top 5 of it. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it might be in the context that City have been horrific this season. Yeah. Yeah, because at the moment, I don't think City, Chelsea, and Newcastle are necessarily getting top 5 because we've been great all season. It's because we're all not very good. I mean, there's 9 games to go, and we're on 49 points here. Yeah, City won 1 game in 14 matches, and we're still 5th. Do you know what I'm saying? I know that there was a Premier League games, of course, but like, I think it might be. You know, I think it might be. I really, really do.
It's looking precarious for them. I mean, one of the stats, I showed this on Monday, and I'll show it again now in case you haven't seen it, LB. If you look at their last 11 games and you look at their form, they've won 4 matches in their last 11. The problem with that is that has come against the 4 teams below them in the form table. And the majority of their remaining games, they've got to play Ipswich and Spurs, who are below them, to be fair. But the rest of their games are all above teams that are above them in that form table. And I know some people say, well, no, I want to look at the league table, not the form table. But we can't be doing that. because the Chelsea right now are nowhere near as good as the Chelsea up until the 8th of December that got them into that title race position. You have to look at the more recent form, the lack of goals. There is all this talk that when they get all their attackers back, there's a guarantee they're going to get better. They should do, and everybody would expect them to. And that isn't to be celebrated in terms of, well, they'll celebrate the wins. I mean, in terms of like, oh, well, what a great guess that you're better when all your attackers are back. But that 11-game run of not beating anybody above them in the form table started when Jackson and Palmer and Madueke were in the team. It's a bit like the Spurs fans sort of have done this a lot this season. Yeah, but you can't be looking at our form guide or our losses because of our injuries. But the lack of wins was also coming when you had a fully fit squad. Like this weekend, like Van der Ven and Romero are back, and they're still losing games. And I think a lot of us saw that. Chelsea have got a hell of a lot of improving to do.